very warm welcome to finals day at the end of week 4 of the UK Pro League here at Loughborough University. Now, week in and week out, our stellar cast of players have treated us to an absorbing spectacle of dynamic tennis. And at a time when the COVID pandemic has plunged the world into uncertainty, the UK Pro League has provided some much-needed stability and continuity for every competitor.
The Pro Series last year was a reaction to COVID. What we found during that competition was that the players really enjoyed it, the coaches really enjoyed it, and we realised we had given them an opportunity to earn money and play competitive tennis.
Well, the COVID-19 pandemic really has, affected everyone globally, but within sport, within tennis in particular in Great Britain, it's really pressed the pause button on a number of players' careers.
I haven't been able to play any ITFs. I've played, I think, 3 since last March, which is crazy when you think that normally I'm able to play sort of like 25, 30 weeks of the year.
Tennis players, it was key to just try and keep fit, doing shadow swings in the garden when the weather was okay. So yeah, it's been difficult, but I'm really happy to be able to compete again.
When we're out on the tour, we could go there, sort of have a bad week and only play 1 match, whereas the UK Pro Series, we're guaranteed 7 matches the whole week. So it's really great to keep our competitive eye in.
Everyone's game is just really comes on, through playing so many matches, and I think it'll really help British tennis with this format.
It's more competitive than abroad, that's for sure. No one wants to lose, especially me. I don't like losing.
It's creating rivalries. That's one of the most fun parts, because these players are having to play each other week in, week out.
I think the rivalry is healthy. I actually think the UK Pro League's done a really good job of bringing us Brits together.
Motivation's a big thing in COVID, so the fact you've got cameras on makes it feel like, oh, okay, someone's watching, this is relevant.
Everyone's playing well, it will be interesting, but I don't want to say it, but I could have backed myself as well.
Well, it's been a mixed week for Freya Christie this week, but once again the 2 dominant forces in the women's game have swept all before them, which is why for the 3rd week running we've got a Maloney Appleton final. And after that, Dan Cox competes in his first final of the series against the runner-up in week 3, the big hitting Henry Patton. The big talking Gigi Salmon is alongside me, having spent her morning running with goats in a nature reserve, I believe.
I did send you a message, but when you didn't reply, obviously still fast asleep, I had to settle for the goats. Made a change.
Makes a change from you acting the goat. I was in the gym, of course, getting ready for this and doing my prep. Right. Would it be fair to say that we are reaching a critical stage in the series?
We touched on this yesterday, and it would be fair to say that, because this is week 4, this is the final day of week 4. So players are starting to look at the leaderboard, because it's all about qualifying for finals week at the start of December. So you mentioned Eliz Maloney and Emily Appleton. The winner today will effectively have 1 foot in the finals in December. Dan Cox could go 2nd overall with the win, and Henry Patton is just his 2nd week competing in the UK Pro League. He could go 3rd in the table. This is the stage when players, the money is very, very important, as is the game time, but also now, as we get into the competition, it's the points and the leaderboard.
Yeah, and of course it's a tough physical challenge for the players, but the majority of them have really embraced it. How would you describe the atmosphere behind the scenes?
It's good, it's hard working. There's an awful lot of people that work very hard to get the UK Pro League up and running, and the players play their part. They talk a lot about the weight of matches. How often do you go somewhere and you're guaranteed, if you're fit and healthy, 7 matches in 7 days? They talk about how much they appreciate the opportunity. I know the world is starting to open up, but there's still a lot of restrictions with travel, and you go somewhere, then you have to quarantine. They get to come here, play these 7 matches, competitive matches. We see rivalries take place, and they get to walk off with some money that will enable their professional careers to continue.
Well, we've got 3 live matches for you today. Yesterday, of course, was semi-final Saturday, which saw Emily Appleton continue her unbeaten run again this week. Her record is quite extraordinary, 25 victories out of 27. And she was too strong for Alice Gillen racing through that 2nd set.
Yeah, she asserted herself very early on. I know there's a little bit of strapping on the Appleton body, but she was very determined, very focused. And Alice Gillen had mentioned a touch of fatigue coming into that match.
Fist pump for David Collins, who has been by Emily's side throughout this series. key moment in this semi-final between Maloney and Nadia Rawson came in the first set when Rawson had a breakpoint opportunity at 3-all. She missed an overhead and she barely won a game thereafter.
And I heard Nadia Rawson say today that she left it all out on the court yesterday. It's been a wonderful week for Nadia Rawson, but Eliz Maloney, how she has grown through this competition and the confidence she continues to have.
Dan Cox has been there or thereabouts throughout the series. He's been magnificent this week. He's won all his matches. He was too strong for Luke Johnson.
Hasn't dropped a set to get to the final. It was third time lucky in terms of reaching the final. He's looked very good. He's looked very focused. He has looked very determined.
And Henry Patton, we know what he can do after his exploits in week 3. And I think it's fair to say that Josh Paris was disappointed with his own display in that match.
Yeah, I saw him when he left the court and he was very, very frustrated. Our week 1 winner, but Henry Patton is just his second week here and it's back-to-back finals.
Yeah, and of course there is an opportunity if you lose in the semi-finals to come back for the third place playoff. Not always easy. But you've mentioned that the points, the prize money, there's still a lot to play for, isn't there?
Absolutely. The likes of Luke Johnson, who fell 2 matches into week 1, he then wasn't here weeks 2 and 3. Today, his points will take him up into the leaderboard into a position where he's in a qualifying position. And Josh Paris with his winner points from week 1. So it's not just about the matches or the financial rewards. As I mentioned, it's getting to the stage where points are very important.
OK, well, let's just confirm our order of play for you, and I hope you can be with us throughout the course of what should be a very exciting afternoon. Imminently, we will have Eliz Maloney and Emily Appleton out on court for the women's final. Then that third place playoff between Luke Johnson and Josh Paris, and not before 4:30. Will Dan be the man, or will Henry paint the patterns? We shall see. Right now, we're going to see the first 2 players in action. And there is Eliz Maloney, 20 years of age, based in Rickmansworth, having been brought up in Cyprus. After a slow start in week 1 when she finished 8th, Eliz has won 17 of her last 20 matches. Runner-up in week 2 before going all the way in week 3. And here she is again in the showpiece event. A phenomenal athlete, incredibly strong mentally. She turned pro at the age of 18 and trains at the Jet Academy in Northwood. And her opponent, 21-year-old Emily Appleton, who has been in magnificent form throughout the series, winning week 1 and week 2 before finishing runner-up to Eliz last time out. She's coached, as I've mentioned, by David Collins. She's from Woking. And, well, she's got the game to trouble anybody. She's dropped just that 1 set this week. Big serve, formidable forehand, a handful for absolutely everybody. And she comes out on top in a key category, according to her contemporaries, as does her opponent.
Emily Appleton definitely has the best serve here. It's been really consistent.
I hit 5 aces, I think, in week 1 in a row. So, yeah, trying to keep going and maybe break the world record, which I think is 10.
Best volley, I would go Olivia Nichols. I know she's a really good doubles player, great touch.
Eliz Maloney has the best movement because she's always getting the next ball back.
Eliz definitely has the best movement. She scraps around the court and is tough to get the ball past.
Freya Christie, I think, has the best forehand here. She's very powerful, and that definitely comes across in that shot.
Freya Christie has the best forehand because it's the hardest.
Eliz Maloney has the best mentality. She's always very focused, stays quite calm.
Alice Gillan. It's a very flat backhand and I've seen that it's been in the corners quite a lot.
I think Alice has the best backhand. When she makes contact, it's, killer shot.
So Maloney coming out on top in terms of mentality and movement. The big serve belongs to Appleton. What is going to be the key today, Gigi?
I think one of the keys will be the coin toss that's just taken place, and I believe that Eliz Maloney won, but I think Emily Appleton would have been watching where it landed because she's got the big serve, she's got the first strike tennis. If she can take that early advantage, if she can try and get Eliz Maloney off balance, because the fear is that the longer this match goes on, that's when Maloney can get into the head of Emily Appleton and grind her down. Maloney's dropped a couple of sets through this week and she's lost a match. It doesn't seem to faze her. While in contrast, Emily Appleton, the last 3 matches in the group, she lost 1 game and then those 4 games in the semi-final. So I do think the start of this match, and it's key to see the start they get off to.
Well, let's hear what both players have had to say in the build-up to this latest tussle.
I think I've been moving really well and staying calm, and just the confidence has been building as well to go for my shots a bit more.
I think I've done well this week to come through every match so far, and I'm happy with that. And then today, really happy to come through. I think the first set was pretty tight for both of us and was happy to pull through in the second set pretty easily, and looking forward to tomorrow.
I think obviously just trying to neutralise her serve where I can, and also being aggressive in who can take the break points and the game points.
Yeah, know her game inside out as she does mine. Obviously anticipating a big fight from her, hustling for every ball. But yeah, looking forward to the match and just want to play my own way.
Well, they know each other inside out. It's a fascinating head-to-head. There's so little to separate them in that regard. In fact, there's nothing in the Pro Series. But as you say, the longer the match goes, perhaps we will start to favour the road runner just over your shoulder, who never seems to get tired.
No, she doesn't. It's an 8th meeting between the two. It's a 5th meeting at the UK Pro League. It's a 3rd and finals. They've split these finals. I was very impressed with how Emily Appleton reacted this week from losing. I know there was a few weeks in between, but from losing that week 3 final. But Eliz Maloney, she is so tough to break down. And again, I do think it's important. Appleton needs the serve, a high percentage of first serves to be going in. She needs to get off to a fast start, because Eliz Maloney will grind and work and play her game.
Well, I know you hate to make predictions, but that time has come, and I appreciate that this is a very hard one to call. But do your best, Miss Salmon.
This is a very hard one to call, and I will go Emily Appleton, just the way she has finished the week. But again, caveat, if the serve is firing, I think she will have too much, but she needs to get it done quickly.
OK, this should be fascinating. Settle back and enjoy in the company of Calvin Besson and Jenny Drummond.
Thanks very much, Marcus and Gigi. Well, we're all set for this women's final, week 4 of the UK Pro League 2021 here at the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre. 3rd meeting, as they mentioned, in the final. These two, Calvin, have just dominated the women's draw so far, and it's so hard to call who actually is going to win this match. There's so little separating them.
Yeah, they've been the 2 best players by far in this sort of run of these pro leagues at Loughborough. They've stood out by a mile. I think they've probably got a huge lead at the top of the table now. So they're worthy finalists. And yeah, it's so close, you can't call it. I think the first 20 minutes of the match, I think, will be hugely important as to what we see of what the outcome will be. Because I think if Emily gets to a good start, then it'll settle it down. She thinks she sometimes gets a bit tight at the start of matches. We already know what Eliz is going to do. As we said yesterday, she's going to bring her game. She's going to be solid. She's going to run around the court. She's going to make a lot of balls. So I don't think that will affect the outcome too much. I think the outcome lies upon how Emily starts the match.
And of course, Eliz has spent a lot more time on the court than her opponent, Emily Appleton. She has gone to 3 sets a few times this week. Appleton just dropping 1 set. We talk about the fatigue and how it doesn't seem to affect Eliz, but does it play on your mind a little bit?
I think with some players it does, but I don't think I think it probably doesn't with Eliz, because I think she's used to just playing a lot of matches like that. She's used to battling her way through matches. She's never been the sort of player who win matches love and just blow opponents away. Even a routine match for Eliz will be an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes.
Not short at all. But she said in that interview as well that she's trying to be more aggressive. That's something that she and Joe Jury, who she works with at the Jet Academy, who was with her earlier in the week and has been here really throughout the UK Pro League series. She said she's trying to be a bit more aggressive. And have you seen that in her game? Because it's easier said than done for someone to try and change that tactic.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. If I'm honest, I've not noticed any more aggression in it, to be honest. She hit maybe 3 or 4 winners yesterday, I think.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting to see how this one ends up. The women's final between Eliz Maloney and Emily Appleton.
I think it's important for Emily to try and keep the ball points short, try and get into the net. The last thing she wants is to be dragged into Eliz's spider web of long rallies, of her moving, keeping to a length, hitting as many backhands as she can. She wants to keep those low. I don't know any other player who tries to hit that shot. Runs round a short forehand to hit an inside-in backhand.
Well, it is her favourite shot. We saw that on the graphic, and it's one that she hits very well indeed. Just wide, but she does like that forehand, likes to drill it up the line and follow it into the net. Is that something that we see a little bit more of?
Yeah, it's a good error, that one. I'd have no problem with that. I'm sure she's not too worried about that. It only just missed, and it was the right intention.
Appleton won 25 matches this year. The only 2 she's lost are to her opponent to date.
Really short second serve, that one, wasn't it? It was there to be hit. I think she was probably a bit surprised by how short it was.
Wasn't going to miss that one.
No, it's a better one.
For Maloney, she has to make sure that she gets a high first serve percentage, because that's the kind of treatment the second serve is going to get from Appleton.
Advantage, Maloney.
So a bit of a tussle, first game of this final, unsurprising. Maloney gets the hold and is on the board. Is that a bit of a sign of what's to come?
I think there was, although she lost the game, I think there's a couple of good intentions there from Emily. She went big on a couple of forehands, and even that last backhand, it was a slice backhand. I think she was trying to keep it low, try and drag Eliz into the net, into the forecourt where Eliz isn't so comfortable. So it shows that she's thinking about it.
And she does like a passing shot too, likes a target when her opponent's at the net.
It's just bringing, I think she was looking to bring Eliz into no man's land. She'd missed that short ball on the backhand earlier, and I think specifically if she can get it short and in the middle of the court, it kind of confuses Eliz a little bit, because she likes to run around a backhand and it doesn't give her a natural angle. I think we might see a fair bit of that looking at the first game. I think she tried a couple of those, and I think we'll see a lot more of those type of shots, the short slice.
Yeah, a bit of an alteration from their last meeting. Week 3 final. See that she's clearly done her homework Appleton comes into every match with at least 2 A4 sheets of notes that she has typed out and reads them often during the match as well.
Love 50.
It's a bit of confusion there. I don't think Emily knows what went on. I think she might have missed her forehand and thought that she'd made the forehand and Eliz had missed the passing shot. Not quite sure what the confusion was.
I mean, didn't want the ball anymore.
Yeah.
Love 30.
Bit of early pressure. She needs to clear her head a bit. I think she's still probably thinking about that previous point there. It's going to be interesting how Emily goes about her service games, because last time when they played a couple of weeks ago, she served volleyed to the deuce court about 9 or 10 times and won every single one of them, and I couldn't believe that she wasn't doing it more regularly, because it was 3 points all day long. When Eliz can't get the ball low off the forehand on the return if it comes too big at her, so she's always going to have, Emily's always going to have a shoulder high volley put away, and she did every time, so I'm hoping she does a lot more of that. And then she goes, oh, she could just ace down the tee.
She could do that too. It's a big old serve. I had a hit with her earlier in the week, and it's really difficult to read as well.
Yeah, yeah.
She can hit in every direction.
It's a really good serve, yeah.
We saw in the VT there, the players saying she had the best serve in the UK Pro League.
But she's also probably got one of the, I mean, they said Olivia Nichols had the best volleys, which she does, but Emily's probably not far behind. That was one of the stranger passing shots that we've seen. You don't see many short lobs.
Got the job done though, and now has 2 breakpoint chances. We spoke about how important the beginning of this match would be. Nice change up.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with this, she's got a big serve and she volleys well. I don't see any reason why she shouldn't be serve volleying to Eliz's forehand a fair amount of times in this match. I think by staying back and allowing Eliz to float the ball, float the returns back, she might be giving up some advantage. Good.
So pegs back to deuce. A couple of top quality points in order to do so. Crucially getting the first serve in both. That's what she does so often. It's quite hard to break Appleton as well, because she does deal with pressure with that first serve so well.
There's that return again. That's what she's going to get, just because of the mechanics and the technique of Eliz's forehand. There's a lot of free points to be had serving there, and if they're not free points, you'll have a lot of put-away balls. You can't go there all the time, obviously. She's hit a couple of big tee serves already. Sure she got it up there.
1 game.
A well-constructed point from Appleton. Manages to save 2 break points. Gets herself on the board with an important hold in her first service game. She get a racket on it. So
tough to tell, isn't it?
Well, Appleton was ready and waiting anyway. A couple of drop shots early on. Certainly not a bad tactic because Maloney loves to stay back on the baseline.
Yeah, Emily will not want to get involved in Eliz's style of play, and Eliz's intention will be to drag Emily into her style of play. That's what she'll be hoping for. Really good point again. Never giving her the same 2 shots all the time. She's short slice, cross, deep slice line, and then a couple of bigger forehands.
It's pretty clear that Appleton has come in with a different game plan.
Yeah, I think it's clear that she's come in with a game plan. I mean, she did have a game plan last time, but it went off as the match went on. But
good. 30-50.
Players calling the lines, but the chair can overrule.
Again, taking a chance and coming to the net.
That was a good pick up there. And on the overhead, you're going to bet your house on Appleton.
Yeah, she's got a really good smash, hasn't she? It's not an easy smash, that either. She was halfway back between the service line and the baseline. She sort of knows there as well that Eliz almost always goes cross-court on the forehand. Again, because of the mechanics of her shot, she struggles to put it down the line. And Emily was waiting for that one.
So now first chance for a break of serve. The week 1 and 2 winner.
Good backhand, to be fair.
She can create quite a lot of pace off that.
Yeah, it's the one shot that
backhand.
she can. It's the one shot that she can do a bit of damage on. I think that backhand. The serve and the forehand, they tend to be just there to be consistent.
Advantage, Maloney.
Again, it's another what I call a good error. She's going for the ball, she's going for it, she knows what her intention is, and she's committing to it. It's just margins just a little bit off.
What a point.
Both players at the net at different stages there.
Exchange from both players. Maloney holds on. She leads 2-1, going with serve in this opening set. Welcome back to the Week 4 UK Pro League Women's Final between Emily Appleton and Eliz Maloney. Tight first 3 games of this match, all going to juice, both players saving break points, and it's what we've come to expect. These two face off against each other. A 5th meeting this year. Maloney winning the last 2 to secure victory in week 3. Called wide, I think.
50.
It's the thing when the players are calling their own line, sometimes they just put the finger up.
Yeah, it's a force of habit, I think that. It's tough for the viewer because we don't often see what they've done, but...
Drawing Maloney short once again.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the tactics that they've planned out today, to use drop shot. I think we've seen 7 or 8 of them already.
And that cord actually ended up being unfortunate for Appleton there. Maloney pretty quick up to it. Maloney topping her group this week. 4 wins, 1 loss. Lost to Freya Christie. 2-hour, 49-minute match. What a battle that was.
40-15.
Both of those don't like making errors, do they? They don't go for much.
No, Christie's had so many battles this week. She's had at least 3 2.5-hour matches. And she just had a 2-hour and 2-minute one.
She'd be disappointed she didn't put the short ball away after the serve, the 3rd ball.
How frustrating is it to play someone like Maloney when the ball just keeps coming back. I mean, she's an unbelievable athlete from the back of the court. Her anticipation too is top drawer. But when you're trying to be the aggressor, it can be slightly demoralising.
Yeah, I think it's important as well. You know you've got to be aggressive, so you know you're going to miss some balls. You're not going to make every single one. It's how you react to those balls that you miss.
Just like that, keep the game plan going.
Yeah, that's the same thing. You've just got to keep doing that and say, if I miss one, you know, even if Emily wins this match today, I expect she'll still make 25 to 30 errors because of the way that she's going to have to play to win it. And it's how she responds to those errors after she's hit them.
So the only game so far there that hasn't gone to deuce.
Yeah. I mean, it can be frustrating playing a player like Eliz, but also there's a positive side of it as well, that you know exactly what you're going to get. So it's easy to plan your game around. If she gets some unforced errors from the back, she'll be over the moon about that.
Bit of a surprise, that error from Maloney.
Such a smart return. It just puts Eliz in no man's land. She's either got to come to the net, which she doesn't want to do, or she's got to start backtracking, and it's easy then for Emily to go back behind.
So up 30 on the Maloney serve. Solid as a rock at the net right now.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier there, where the approach wasn't bad by any stretch, but a player with a different grip and a different technique would have been able to get the ball lower and maybe to Emily's feet and to pass with a bit more pace. But she always knows she's going to get that chest high, shoulder high volley from Eliz's forehand, unless she lobs.
So had one break point in the previous Maloney service game, couldn't convert, but here are two. That's a nice response, though.
Yeah.
30, 40.
Go. An unforced error to bring it as well.
There is the break of serve. Appleton gets the breakthrough in this women's final. She leads by 3-2 in the first set. Welcome back to the women's final between Eliz Maloney and Emily Appleton. Appleton has a break of serve. This is our first of 3 matches. Coming up next, we will have the men's third-fourth playoff between Luke Johnson and Josh Paris, who both narrowly missed out the final spot yesterday. And then, of course, the men's final between Dan Cox and Henry Patton. We will have a new Week 4 winner. Dan Cox, twice a semi-finalist. Henry Patton has been a finalist in Week 3. These two ladies on the court, though, have both been victorious. Appleton, the winner of Weeks 1 and 2. Maloney, the winner of Week 3.
Love.
What we'll find with Eliz, though, is she'll stick to her game plan. It won't deter her. She's lost her serve. She's dropped a bit behind in the match. She'll just keep playing away the same as she always does. She's so mentally strong. She's pretty well set in her game style. She'll just keep saying to Emily, if you can keep playing like this, then too good.
50.
I don't think we'll see too much change in how Eliz plays.
Booming serve. Has hit a game of aces in the UK Pro League this series. Actually hit 5 in a row. Hit a game of aces in UK Pro Series last year as well. Oh, well, a bit of luck at the end, but another crafty point from Appleton, drawing Maloney forward with a short slice.
Yeah, she's really executing her game style so well at the minute, is Emily. She's not letting Eliz stand at the back, sort of 6 foot behind the baseline and keep hitting to her length. She's mixing her rhythms up, mixing her paces up, mixing her positions up.
So Appleton consolidates the break of serve. And right now has a pretty good cushion in this first set.
Yeah, I thought we might see more of Emily at the net than we did in the last match, but she's been quite smart. What she's done is brought Eliz to the net more than the last match.
Love 50.
That's uncharacteristic for Maloney, especially off the backhand side.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
What a rocket.
Love 40.
That was hit with some amount of pace and venom.
Yeah, that was huge. It's the biggest backhand I've seen this week. Did you teach you that one, Jenny, when you were hitting with it?
Oh, yeah. My backhand's not quite like that.
15,
So another 2 breakpoint chances here for Appleton to extend their lead to a double break. What a chance that was.
I don't really know why she chose the slice there. It seems so obvious to just drive, just roll it into the open court, didn't it? Take the net out of the equation.
But this is when Maloney can get under your skin, tracks down everything.
It's another backhand though.
That's 2 backhand errors in the game, and it hands Emily Appleton a double break. She leads 5-2. Women's final action here on Court 1 at Damasco Tennis Centre at Loughborough University. Emily Appleton seems to be in control right now. Has broken the serve of Maloney on 2 occasions. She will now serve for the set.
That's a good lob. Really good hands.
Very skillful, very aware of court position and what she's doing with the ball. It's not easy to hit that.
Yeah, on the run as well. On the run from a pretty short ball and a moving back.
You could see exactly what Appleton was trying to do. That was one of the longest rallies we've had in this match so far, and trying to change it up and pull Maloney off the baseline.
I think it's important that she does things like that, though, and not get dragged into 20, 30 shot rallies, even if she ends up losing the odd point from doing so. Just don't get involved in the match that Eliz wants to play, and likewise, Eliz will be trying to get her to play that type of match.
Yeah, physically that's tough to get into those rallies. It's the 7th match in 7 days for both of these players. Although we have been calling Maloney the road runner because she is so unbelievably fit.
And that's the type of point that Eliz will be wanting to play.
40.
I think Emily might have to take a, if she does get into that type of point, she'll have to take a couple of half chances and hit one and come in, or like she did on the previous point, throwing a drop shot or something like that. It's tough to hit a clean winner from behind the baseline when Eliz is keeping a good length. So that's kind of taken out the equation. You'd be taking an unnecessary risk if you try to do that. So the other options are get to the net yourself, or bring Eliz into the net.
2 break points now for Maloney. couple of unforced errors from Appleton in that game, and Maloney gets one break back at least.
Yeah, I think she might have won that point twice as well there. That serve was definitely out, wasn't it?
So now Appleton with a little to think about. Not very often she'll serve for the set and lose the service game.
She's been right in every single one of Eliz's service games, hasn't she? She'll probably fancy herself to get another break here. It's a good intention though, that. Showing Eliz that she's not getting involved in the long grinding rally. She's going to have a pop at that ball whenever she gets a chance.
Missed returns though.
Yeah, sloppy couple of games.
So Maloney holds serve crucially. 2 games on the trot for Maloney. Appleton will have one more chance to serve for the opening set after this sit down. But nerves maybe, Calvin, coming into it a little bit.
This next game's a really big game. I think if Emily holds it, then it doesn't matter that she's lost the last couple of games. But if Eliz can break back here, then I think there's a big momentum swing in the match then. I think then if that happens, I think Eliz then becomes favourite for this set.
She plays so well when she's coming from behind. Remember back in week 2, she was playing Beth Gray in the semi-final and she was a set and 5-1 down. Unbelievable fight back.
She's got such clarity in her game plan, though. I think that she knows what she's going to do every point. There's not many decisions to make, so she can't make wrong decisions because every ball is I'm going to hit to a length and tell my opponent that if they can hit winners off that, if they can win the point from there, that's too good. But it's tough to do that under pressure when you're getting a bit tight if you're not making first serves and you missed a couple of forehands and it starts getting in your head.
So Emily Appleton now serving for the set for a second time. Maloney looking to break once again.
15.
It's a good point to settle her down, that early doors.
Good hands once again from Appleton. Well, there's a serve and volley out wide that you wanted on the juice court.
She's got to do a bit better with the volley, I think.
30, 50.
I think there was a bit of hesitancy as to what she was going to do. She could have just chopped that one off, but I think she waited a bit and it left her the only option she could play was the drop shot, and she was caught in two minds, really. Or I'm just talking rubbish and my tactics are not very good. One or the other.
I'll not comment.
That'd be really frustrating for Eliz there, because she got the kind of point that she wanted, hadn't she? She got her into a long baseline length ball rally and ends up missing the ball herself.
Yeah, you could see her reaction there. It was like that unforced error hurt her.
Yeah.
And it certainly has in this game, because now Appleton has 2 set points.
Another forehand error.
And she takes it.
6 games.
So Appleton manages to hold serve. She takes the opening set in this women's final. 6 games to 4. Welcome back to this women's final. Emily Appleton has just taken the first set against Eliz Maloney, 6-4. Emily, great to have a chat with you now. How pleased are you with how you managed to serve out the set there?
Yeah, really pleased. Obviously decided that I wanted to play 2 extra games at 5-2, so yeah, happy to win that one.
Emily, it looks like you've sort of set your game plan out that you wanted to bring Eliz into the forecourt, up close to the net, bring her with some short slices, some drop shots. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, the last time I played her, she was basically on the back fence, so anything to take her off that and make her feel uncomfortable.
And what have you got to do in this second set to try and continue the momentum you've built?
I think just keep the plan simple, keep trying to do what I'm trying to do, and yeah, take it point by point.
Well, very well done in that first set. Thanks for chatting to us, Emily.
Thanks.
So she seems like a woman on a mission right now. She's very focused indeed.
Yeah, she seems to have, and you know, it's interesting to see that that was her game plan, that she noticed last time how far back Eliz was standing, and she's not willing to let her do that. It's a case. It's tough though when you're playing that type of game that you get to try and continue it for a full match, because it's often easy to revert to type and just start rallying from the baseline, because most points are baseline rallies. So I'm interested to know if she can keep that up in this set.
Yeah, the focus certainly to try and execute a game plan, which you wouldn't normally. That's the thing. She's adapting it to the player. It's not what she would normally play.
Yeah.
So here we go, second set.
It would be easy to say that she maybe could have gone inside in on that forehand then, but when you play somebody who moves so well, it's often a good play to go back behind, because when we say they move so well, they tend to move early as well. So she'd gone into the backhand corner, and Eliz was on her way back covering that shot. So although she missed it, it was quite a good tactical intention, I think, from Appleton.
15 all.
Decent play again, but I'm not sure about the direction of it. She was already in the backhand side, so. And it also wasn't a great drop shot, in fairness.
Yeah, had a wee bit too much height.
Yeah.
And Maloney drilling that down the line for a winner.
Big forehand slice followed by the big forehand.
30 all.
Important point coming up here.
Yeah. So close, wasn't it?
And Maloney was clearly expecting the cross court. Missed by a whisker.
Okay, Maloney, new balls, please.
An important hold of serve for Maloney. Get off to a positive start in this second set. It's interesting now, Calvin, as we take a look at these numbers. Very interesting to see the first serve percentage for Appleton actually below 60%.
Yeah. Winning 58% point on a second serve, though. It's pretty decent. Eliz only winning 42% on her first serve. The second, she's been all right, the second serve. Winning 75, you take that all day long. But you've got to be up at around about 70% win percentage on your first serve.
So both these players going off to compete internationally after this. Emily Appleton actually heading off to Israel tomorrow. She hasn't competed abroad so far this year. It's only been UK Pro League, whereas Maloney played a couple of ITFs in Sharm el-Sheikh at the beginning of the year. How good a platform is this for match practice in order to...
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's something that these players have not had for years as well. They're knowing that you can get 7 matches in a week. Most of the, formerly in the British tours, what they'd normally play if they weren't abroad, it's you can get knocked out in the first round and it's 1 match. So, and a maximum of 4 or 5 matches.
And let's not forget, the winner of this match picks up £4,250.
It's not bad, is it?
No, considering how much and how well these two have done.
It's a good finish at the net, though.
Love
good approach.
50.
It's probably been the most lucrative beginning of a year for both of these players.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a third final for Maloney.
Sniff now, though, early doors. There's definitely been a little drop from Appleton, I think, hasn't there, other than that game when she served the set out. It's the only game out of the last 4 that she's won. Playing with the new balls as well in this game. You can tell they're just flying a little bit.
Well, a pretty good adjustment from Appleton there, but quite a little.
It's a real hesitation, wasn't there? I think she could have taken that drive volley and just start thinking maybe it's going to go out, and the ball had passed her before she knew it.
Now, what a chance for Maloney here to break early doors in this second set. And she does. The double fault from Appleton hands the break of serve to Eliz Maloney. And this is the perfect start for her after dropping the first set.
Yeah, there's really definitely been a drop, apart from that one game when she at 5-4 for in Emily's game. She was really on a good run of form for about 3 or 4 games before that, and Eliz seems to have taken the momentum a bit now. Kind of moved a bit away from what she was doing as well. I don't think we've seen a drop shot in 2 or 3 games, have we? Maybe that one that she tried that wasn't very good.
15 love.
But again, we come back to it. This is what Eliz does. She sticks with, this is my game, this is what I'm going to do, and if you can beat me, then too good. But she'll keep challenging her opponents with good length balls, good movement, making a lot of balls. Good shot.
15.
Good tactic as well there to bring her in. He's not comfortable at the net. Couple of better points there. Got herself back on track a bit now.
Yeah, small opening here for Appleton. Couple of unforced errors creeping in for Maloney. Now Appleton with a chance to break right back.
30-40.
Well, the booming forehand there from Appleton ensures that she does break back immediately. Back on serve in the second set. 2-1 Maloney. So a couple of breaks of serve in the second set. Maloney did have the lead 2-love. Appleton clawed back in. Women's final action here in week 4, the UK Pro League, and week 5 coming week following Wimbledon. So a bit of a break now between the weeks. So this match, the outcome of this, extremely important for both players.
I think most of the guys who are playing this week are off somewhere in the next few weeks around the globe and trying to get some world ranking points with the money that they've made from these tournaments.
Big hitting from Appleton. Ranking points is something that she said she really wants to get a hold of. She's currently ranked 750 in the WTA Tour. Was just outside the world's top 500 at 501 in October 2018. And she's certainly going to be looking to try and break the top 500.
Yeah, for sure. If she carries this form into the next few weeks, definitely a goal that she could achieve.
I mentioned she goes off to Israel tomorrow, and she was in the commentary box earlier on in the week with me and said, "Do you like travelling?" She doesn't enjoy it. It's tough. She said it can be really lonely. She's off on her own to Israel, but a lot of the British players try and spend time together.
Yeah, I think it can be tough, especially over the last year. I think that you've not been allowed to do anything. You couldn't go out for dinner or anything. It was a case of just eating in your room. A lot of these tournaments where they play now, where they stay at hotels with all-inclusive restaurants and that kind of thing, the dinner times can be quite decent affairs. But for the last year, there's been none of that. Especially when really to justify it, you need to go away for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. So 3 or 4 weeks in a row of just hitting a few tennis balls and then sitting in your hotel room it's not great for the mindset, is it?
No, certainly very tough indeed.
But again, it's something that you've got to do. The players are used to it. They know they've got to do it. It's their job. So there's worse things you can be doing, I guess.
Both of these players certainly making the most of their time on the court at the UK Pro League this year. You see now that reaction, frustration building for Maloney.
I think it seems strange to say it because Emily's 6-4, 2-all, but the longer this match goes on without another break of serve, Eliz will start fancying the chances. I think her intention now will be to get the match close, get it to somewhere like maybe 4-all.
So interesting to see that the few long rallies we've had in this match, it's Maloney who comes out on top every time.
Yeah. And she'll know this. Eliz will play so many matches like this where the opponent starts off pretty well and she'll just be thinking, right, okay, let's see if you can hit winners for the next 1 hour and 20 minutes as well. And if you can, then fair play. And that's a skill in itself, because it's easy to get deterred when she loses the set. It's easy to think, well, maybe I've got to be more aggressive, but she hasn't done. It's a phenomenal get off the backhand.
So Appleton sending that long, Maloney holding, still on serve now in this second set. 3-2 Maloney, first set. Midway through the second set of this women's final. Emily Appleton 1 set to the good, trying to win her third week of UK Pro League 2021. Coming up next, we have a men's third-fourth playoff between Luke Johnson and Josh Paris. Then the men's final between Dan Cox and Henry Patton.
She's hit that serve well today, hasn't she? That T serve, the flat one. Hit it big and hit her targets well. It's all that practicing on that Highland Spring Challenge that the players have been doing.
Yeah, it's been great fun to see that. The players aiming for the Highland Spring can in the service box. A few of them have nailed it first time, and let me tell you, some of the celebrations have been entertaining too, particularly Josh Paris did a lap of honour.
Well, I understand he predicted that he hit it first time as well, didn't he?
Oh, he was very confident indeed of his ability. And Julian Cash was on the court with him. A bit of argy-bargy going on.
Love.
How did Luke get on with it?
I don't know if he's done it, actually. I'm not sure. He didn't tell me, mate. So maybe he did it and wasn't very good at it, and that's why he hasn't told me. But She's so fast, isn't she? She gets up to that. That was a really good drop shot.
Yeah, let's take a look at her reaction here. Super quick. Steadies herself really well too when she got there.
Yeah, that's an underrated skill as well, to be able to slow yourself down and push the ball where you want it to go.
Second double fault for Appleton. Just allows Maloney back in this game. What was looking like a very straightforward hold of serve, it's changed its course.
Let.
Now a bit of pressure on Appleton here. See David Collins giving her a nod of encouragement. You try and speak through the mask. You're going to say no.
Dan Cox was adamant yesterday that I was talking through the mask.
And was he correct, Calvin?
He was, but he said it about 3 or 4 times to the umpire, but whatever I was saying wasn't doing much good, was it? So maybe he thinks I'm a better coach than I actually am.
Yeah, Dan Cox has not yet lost a set this week in his first final of Pro League.
Good serve, that. No, it's strictly encouragement. I always play by the rules, Jenny, when I'm sat on court. You're not allowed to coach your player, so I definitely wouldn't be doing that.
I'll take your word for it. But look up next against Josh Paris in that 3rd-4th playoff. Those two met earlier on this week as well. Paris sneaking that victory, so Johnson looking to get revenge today. This game seems to be of huge importance.
Yeah, and it's one of those games, isn't it, that both players have been a bit sloppy in it. So whoever comes out of it will feel like they've stolen the game, I think.
Second breakpoint chance now for Maloney. It's already led by a break in this set. Oh, that's great court coverage from Appleton.
Yeah, it's a great volley as well. Not only to get there, but to get that punch on it and get an angle on it. Fantastic volley. Shot of the match, that one, I'd say, so far. Maybe that backhand earlier.
Well, she knew exactly where Maloney was going with it. That is great control, especially under pressure. Breakpoint down.
Advantage Appleton.
First sign of a bit of frustration there from Eliz. She doesn't normally miss backhands.
That's massive hitting. Emily Appleton to
3 games
a
all.
very important service game. Had to fend off 2 break points. Now, how crucial is this moment?
Yeah, it's big, and I think what Emily's done well today is she's managed the momentum shifts quite well, that just when you think that Eliz is getting right back in it and making the match 50-50, Emily's managed to shut it out pretty well. Big 10 minutes coming up for both players, I think, now. Should we just not talk about that one?
Not happy with herself at all.
Love.
And the drop shot working that time though for Appleton.
30-50.
This time went to the backhand side.
Yeah, and central as well. I think that's quite a good play. Takes the angle out of what Eliz can do with it. You say to the backhand side, but at least it's backhand from about 3/4 of the course. Big point now.
30 all.
Appleton now right back in this service game. A bit of pressure on Maloney now to come up with a first serve delivery in particular.
Huge forehand.
30-40.
Oh my goodness, that landed plumb in the corner.
I think Eliz might have thought that it was just going out. The way that she reacted. No, maybe not.
Great point chance now. And she gets it. It's Appleton with the breakthrough in the second set. How crucial could that be? She now leads by a set and a break. So Emily Appleton looking more in control of this match, this women's final, week 4 of the UK Pro League. Got a crucial break of serve in the previous game. But now, one of the hardest parts of a tennis match is closing it out.
Yeah, a couple of big games coming up now, especially for Emily, I think. Probably got away with one there. She didn't seem to fully commit to that forehand approach, and you'd have fancied Eliz to hit the backhand pass.
Very avid note taker, as David Collins charts every single point. She's had the taping on her right thigh all week long, but hasn't seemed to have affected her. Maloney, however, not one single piece of tape in sight.
I think she had one on her knee last time, didn't she, when she won the final? Seem to remember. Forward. She went after that one, Eliz, didn't she? Yeah. Needed to inject a bit more pace into it. Well, she was in a bit of trouble there, I think. I think Emily had played quite a decent slice. If that wasn't a winner, Eliz would have been stood again in the middle of no man's land and given Emily a decent passing opportunity.
Appleton taking her time here.
Big point. Oh, it's such a smart shot. I think she saw that Eliz moved back, ready to go back to the baseline, and change their mind right at the last minute.
Called a let by the chair.
Emily doesn't seem too impressed with it, does she?
No, I think she's just checking with Eliz as to whether she agreed.
Keep saying it, but it's another big point, isn't it?
Yeah, crucial stages of this women's final now.
It's the kind of serve you want on a big point.
Yes.
Served her well today, that one, hasn't it? A big one down the tee.
Must be nice to have in your toolkit, especially when you're under a little bit of pressure. Now a chance to consolidate that break of serve.
Went for another big one there. A bit of extra on that one, wasn't there? Terrible choice of shot, I think, but played a bit too fine. It's good that there still seems to be some clarity about Emily's plan. She's not, once it gets tight, she's not reverting to just trying to rally. Still sticking to a plan of trying to bring Eliz into the court more. Not letting her settle behind the baseline.
Advantage Maloney.
It was a bit of a loose second serve though. And now what a chance for Maloney to get back level in the second set.
Good volley.
You can see Maloney annoyed that the sponsor boards are where they were. that she didn't have enough court. She ran out of court essentially.
I don't think she was getting that one back anyway. To be honest.
Yeah, but you've got to blame something.
That's true, yeah.
That was gutsy tennis for Appleton. It's again under pressure. Goodness me.
Advantage Maloney.
What a retriever this Maloney is. Just makes her opponent play one more ball.
Again, I think there's a little bit of hesitation there from Emily though. I think she was hoping that ball was going out. She probably could have had another smash or a drive volley at that one.
So second breakpoint chance here for Maloney.
Maloney.
And she takes it.
4 games.
And the second set has really ebbed and flowed in a very different manner to the first.
It's strange, isn't it? There's only been one break of serve each, but it seems like the serve hasn't been that dominant at all. It's not really mattered who was serving.
Which is surprising given the pace that Appleton possesses on her serve. So we're back level once again. It was Maloney who led 2-love, then Appleton 4-2.
Change up there from Eliz, coming with a sneak approach. You don't see you do that very often, do you?
I knew you were going to be surprised with that one.
I love a sneak approach.
This slice, though, stayed so low.
Yeah, it's a nice slice, that one. Good composure as well to place that one in the open court.
Well, she took it on.
15.
Couldn't quite get height over the net. It was a pretty high contact point.
Yeah, and again, I think maybe a little bit in two minds there, what to do with it. Previous shot was the same as well. I think she was going to have a hit of it, and in the end went for a moon ball.
That is really crafty play from Emily Appleton.
15.
So smart, really showing her tennis IQ on the court there.
Yeah, it's really good from both players, to be fair, because Emily played that point perfectly, and you would expect to have got Eliz out of position a few shots earlier, but her movement's so good. She's so fast, covers the court well, covers the geometry of the court well, that it can be quite frustrating for Emily, I think, because you would think that she'd have the openings earlier in the point than she's getting at the minute. But she's doing well. Like every game's a 30-all now, doesn't it?
Yeah. There really is not a lot between these two, particularly in this second set. A 5th meeting this year. 8th meeting in total. And they've split the meetings this year. The last 2, Maloney won in week 3 in the group stages and in the final. And then it was week 2 in the group and the final that Appleton prevailed.
Great back online. A few of those today, haven't she? Really good ones.
It had depth and pace. Too much for Maloney to handle on that occasion. Now facing a break point. What a chance this is for Appleton here.
Really good passing shot. Maybe Emily didn't quite get the width on it that she would have wanted. Gave Eliz a little bit of a chance.
Once again, incredible court coverage from Maloney. And she managed to come up with the goods under pressure on that occasion. What another great point. The level has gone up in the last few minutes, certainly between both players. Some really good exchanges, and what a slice there from Appleton to set up the rest of the point.
Yeah, it's a wonderful sort of, I don't know whether you call it a slice or a drop shot. It's kind of somewhere in between the two, wasn't it, that? It's a lovely shot. Lovely feel on it. It's a good get on that volley as well. I don't think Emily expected to have it to hit a backhand there.
Maloney doing well at the net once again. She is fighting hard as she does so well.
Very tidy on the volleys, isn't she?
And you said she wanted to get to 4-all in this second set.
Yeah, this is in her wheelhouse, I think, now. Make it into a scrap.
goodness, there's just no getting past Maloney right now.
Yeah, he just has a way of getting a racket onto balls and getting them into the court, finding the navy blue part of the court so well.
Isn't it purple?
There's some debate. I think it's navy blue.
Maloney saved 2 break points. Now has a game point of her own.
Got the game.
A huge hold for her.
Maloney leads 5 games.
Digging in so hard. The first real come on we've heard from her as well there. And now, after this sit down, a bit more pressure on Appleton.
Yeah, it's the first time that she's been really under the cosh, I think, having to serve from behind at a pressure point. Be interesting to see how she responds to that. She'll definitely be hoping for a few big first serves. And Eliz will be thinking, just get one of the first 2 points, and she's right in the mix there.
Will Appleton see that as an opportunity gone astray?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she had chances there. Didn't play horrendous on those chances. I think Eliz played that great point where she got to the net and hit that lovely angled volley.
These two ladies been so dominant in the UK Pro League 2021 season so far. 1 and 2 in the overall standings. Appleton at the top spot after being crowned a winner of weeks 1 and 2. Maloney in 2nd place. The winner of this will pick up 18 points. Every player aiming to qualify for the finals week, the 9th week later on in the year, where the stakes get higher, the money gets higher. But right now, Emily Appleton serving to stay in the 2nd set of 4-5.
Kind of point she'll want.
15 love.
First volley was a little bit hesitant, I think, but punched that second one away. A good volley.
It's got such a great angle on it.
I said that Eliz would be wanting to get one of the first 2 points. She's done that.
And let's not forget that Appleton led 4-2.
Yeah. Hugely uncharacteristic, isn't it? Such a big point. When Eliz does make errors, they tend to come on points that are not so big, but 4-5,
yeah.
15 all.
Haven't been many cheap points that have gone Appleton's way. I'm sure she'll take that one.
And here we are again, 30 all.
It's feeling a bit tense, isn't it?
Every game, 30 all. Might as well just start each game at 30 all and play from there. good serve at 30 all.
As a coach, when you're sitting courtside, how tough is that to just appear as if you're cool, calm and collected? Easier with a mask on, right?
yeah, that's one of the benefits of mask, yeah. They can't see you grinding your teeth.
Did well there.
Volley. Again, the first volley was a little bit hesitant, wasn't it? And then punched the second one away well.
Stood her ground and big hold of serve. 5-all in the second set. So tight between these two. Appleton managing to stop the run of games against her, as it was 3 in a row for Maloney.
Love.
Tightness will start to come into it, but also a bit of fatigue as well. They've been going well over an hour and a half now, haven't they?
But I'm sure Maloney will be thinking the longer this match goes on, the better for her, because she knows she can outlast anybody. That's what Rafa Nadal tries to do on the court, especially in a 5-set match. He knows the longer it goes on, the more his opponent's going to be worn down.
Oh, I think if you told Eliz now that they'd be on the court in 25 minutes' time, she'd take that all day long. Whereas I don't think Emily would be able to win with that.
Yeah, Appleton dropped just 1 game in her last 3 matches of the group stages, so spent far less time on court.
Oh, that's such a good point. Really good intention there. 3 shots in a row where she really went after them. It's happened a couple of times where Emily's hit a big first shot and then just laid off the second one a little bit, but absolutely not in that case there. Great smash as well. And again, not an easy smash. Unfortunately, we always go to 30 all though, so she's almost certain to lose this next point.
Well, what an opportunity that was for Appleton. She did so well with the backhand pass down the line. Got the hard shot in the court here. Great pickup though from Maloney. Missed the routine one.
Yeah, I don't think she thought Eliz was making the forehand volley, but she has a way of doing it. Absolutely frustration there. That was two break points in the offing.
Oh. She sure is an athlete, Eliz Maloney.
I think she got a bit over-eager there. She thought she might have to play a more difficult volley, and when she had the shoulder height, when she snatched it a bit.
What a big moment here. Break point for Appleton. Couldn't quite dip the ball back into the court.
I don't know what happened. They did get a little net cord, that one. She looked like she was a little bit off balance and wasn't expecting the ball to come where it did. It's a great wrong foot shot.
Advantage Appleton.
Actually gave the ball a bit more height as well.
Yeah.
Really smart play. Only wasn't expecting it. Here's another breakpoint opportunity.
Looks like that tape's coming off a little bit, doesn't it? She knows she's going to have a hit of it. I'm interested to see what she does. She's going to go after it.
Well, breakthrough for Appleton here.
Appleton leads 6-5.
She will serve for the match after this sit down.
How do you think she'll play the 30-all point in the next game?
Are we fast forwarding straight there?
I was playing the law of averages.
Well, it just shows what a tight match it has been so far. Both players have had chances in this second set. It was Maloney who got off to the better start, 2-love. Appleton breaking straight back. Then was in control at 4-2, but Maloney doing her job, breaking serve. But how will the nerves be here and now?
She'll have some nerves, yeah, for sure. I mean, the match has been so tight anyway. I think Emily she has a tendency to sometimes get a little bit tight as well. So, but anyone does, to be fair. It's not exclusive to her, but what's telling with players is how you respond when you get a little bit tight. And the way to think about it is she'd much rather be in her position than Eliz's position at the minute.
So big moments here for both Emily Appleton and Eliz Maloney. Appleton serving for the match, looking for her third winning week here at the UK Pro League.
Love 15.
Every point is absolutely massive right now. The stakes are so high.
Yeah, and Eliz just doing what she does, just making her play an extra ball every time. There was a couple of half chances for Emily to finish it there, but Eliz just makes you play. She just keeps on churning out those decent length balls. It's a great serve.
15-all.
Like both strap-ins are coming off. I think Emily's on a race against time to finish the match before her strap-ins come off. She's missed that one there. As I saw it from that angle there, if she'd have served and volleyed on that one, she'd have had a really straightforward put-away volley.
Now a little bit of pressure on Appleton.
we go, 30 all.
I was hoping you might be wrong just for the fun of it, but
it feels like sometimes when I'm coaching and when we're on court, we don't have time to play a full set. We'll play a set from 30 all, and it feels like every game starts at 30 all. It feels a bit like that.
that one's got to hurt for Eliz Maloney, because not only was it an unforced error, but it is now giving Emily Appleton match point.
Do you think she's going to go big on the serve or make the first serve?
Neither.
Neither, was it? She kind of played safe, but it went long, way long.
It goes long, and Emily Appleton is the winner of week 4 here at the UK Pro League. What a 4 weeks of competition it has been for the 21-year-old. She gets her 26th victory. 26 out of 28. The winner of weeks 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah, I think at the end as well, I wouldn't call it a celebration. It looked like she'd got rid of some demons there, I think, wasn't it? That last point, I think you could tell she was a little bit tight, a little bit nervous, but she kept her game, though. She kept going, she kept hitting the ball. She didn't lay off anything. It was an impressive performance. She did really well. She carried out a game plan and won some points where she didn't carry out a game plan, but still managed to get through those points.
Yeah, not an easy match at all against an extremely tough opponent. Eliz Maloney smiles now, but we have to give credit to Maloney. She has toughed it out every single week, twice a finalist, once a winner, and she put in a shift today.
Oh, you can't give her enough credit. She's a hell of a player, she's a hell of a competitor, and you know that if you beat Eliz Maloney, then you're going to have played a decent tennis match. She's never going to give you a tennis match. I enjoy watching her. I think she plays a good game.
So the final numbers of this women's final, and Appleton coming through in straight sets, undefeated this week. She's dropped just one set earlier on in the week. And a very good performance once again from Emily Appleton. She takes top spot, £4,250, the maximum prize purse she could have hoped for. 18 points, of course, as well in the league standings, so she will continue to be on the top, and that will stand her in good stead going to compete abroad as well.
Yeah, she's off out to Israel, play some futures.
Well, we can now head down to Marcus as he is with the week 4 winner.
Well, Emily, many congratulations. You have done it again. Weekly winner for the 3rd time out of 4. Just how satisfactory and exciting is this latest result for you?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I'm just so done right now. Eliz worked me to my hardest, and yeah, it was such a great fight and great match from her. So yeah, just happy to get over the line.
You two have developed such a fabulous rivalry. What makes her such a tough opponent?
She just never gives up. Like you have to win it every single time. She never gives you a single point for free, and I really admire her for that.
And what was your thought process in particular going into this match after what happened in the week 3 final?
Yeah, I thought there were definitely some changes I could make after losing in week 3, so I tried to mix up a little bit today, and yeah, it seemed to pay off.
You've already got 69 points. You've won 26 of your 28 matches. Presumably you have exceeded your own wildest expectations.
Yeah, honestly, after these 4 weeks, if I could say I've won 3 of them, I would never believe you. So yeah, I was just hoping to make the semis each week. So yeah, this is cherry on top.
And which aspects of your game in particular have you been most pleased with?
I think my serve throughout has been very solid and consistent and reliable. I've needed
needed it to pull me through at times, and I've been able to do that, which I haven't been able to do in the past, so I'm very happy with that.
Well, we're only at the halfway stage in terms of the weeks, and yet you're almost certainly guaranteed a place in finals week. But do you intend to come back and keep dominating during the summer and the autumn?
Yeah, you can count me being in weeks 5, 6, 7 and 8.
We've heard it from the horse's mouth. And just in terms of how you are feeling, you say you're a bit done, but you're on a plane to Israel tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can catch me at Terminal 5. So yeah, I've got like 12 hours to recover and get ready for next week.
Are you going to be okay? Because you say you've been dressed up a bit like a mummy for most of this week.
Yeah, I haven't actually felt great all week, so I'm very happy with the win. I was considering not playing at the start of the weekend last week, so yeah, very happy. But yeah, need to do all the recovery I can now to get ready for next week.
Well, I saw during the match that your coach David was writing, I don't know if it's a book, a novel, so he's got a few things for you to look at on the flight to Israel. But many, many congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in weeks 5, 6, 7 and 8.
Thank you.
There we are. Success again for Emily. Gigi's going to come in. Eliz is going to be tired, but very proud of herself as well. We've spoken about this rivalry, Gigi. We had a thriller. The match had just about everything, didn't it? And I don't think anybody could quite guess what was going to happen until that final point.
Well, it was very hard, wasn't it, even at the start when you're asking for your regular prediction. It's a very hard one to predict. Now, this was a 9th meeting between the two, and some of the best rivalries is when you have the contrast in styles, and you've got the movement, and you've got the fighting spirit and the mentality of Maloney. She does not know when she is beaten. And then you've got that serve in the big game. And as Emily Appleton said, she had to mix things up today. She needed a near-perfect execution of her game plan. And she came through, and she's a winner.
And there she is, celebrating. We've heard the prize money, more than £16,000 for her during the course of the last 4 weeks. And Eliz has been pushing her all the way, and we look forward to seeing them in action again during the summer and the autumn. We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, we'll analyse what we've seen and look ahead to the forthcoming men's matches. Welcome back to the Dan Maskell Tennis Centre here at the University of Loughborough, where a few moments ago she did it again. Emily Appleton, for the third time in 4 weeks, is the winner. And the bad news, Gigi, for everybody else, is that she's made it very clear she intends to play weeks 5, 6, 7 and 8, and of course, finals week 2.
Well, she's definitely got more than 1 foot in the finals week in early December. And she said, didn't you say it was the cherry on the cake, the fact that she was hoping to make semi-finals every week, and now she's got 3 of the 4 titles.
Absolutely. And let's spare another thought for Eliz Maloney, who had a very quiet start in week 1, but since then has been almost as consistent as Emily. And as Emily herself said, she's such a tough competitor because she is the road runner. She never gives up on anything.
How often do you hear from an opponent of Eliz Maloney saying, I'm exhausted, I tried everything? We heard it with Nadia Rawson saying, I've had absolutely everything out on the court, there was nothing left, because she doesn't give you anything. She will make you earn it. She'll make you work for it with her style of play. And it's been so impressive, as you said, from 8th to runner-up to winning it to runner-up once again. I mean, they are the 2 standouts in the women's draw.
Yeah, and we were kept guessing in terms of what was going to happen in that second set. The longer the match went, we thought the more Eliz Maloney might just get the edge of it, which perhaps makes Emily's success all the more impressive.
It certainly does. She knew she had to come out here and execute her game plan. And we have to say that she was in trouble early on. Remember, Emily Appleton had a couple of early break points to save in her first service game. So right from the off, she was under pressure. But she knew that it was more important for Appleton to get the fast start.
Well, this was the first key move. And at this stage, as Appleton goes on to get the break, you're thinking, OK, this may be a little more one-sided than we anticipated. Wasn't the case, but there's a couple of wonderful volleys to have a look at here. This stretch one with the angle to just stay on track at a key stage in the second set.
Yeah, she talked about mixing it up. Yes, she had the game plan. It didn't always go to plan, but she knew she had to come forward. She had to change things up. She had to try and get Maloney off balance. And that overhead was so clean, the way she guided that down cross court. She put everything out on court against Maloney, because Maloney doesn't give you anything.
Yeah, and even at this point, you're not quite certain. Has she done enough? Maloney fighting, scraping. This is her trademark, and this is going to ensure that she stays there or thereabouts, you would think, throughout the series. This last point just sums up the whole match.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
At the back of the court, she wants to trade. And look at the reaction from Emily Appleton. She said that she thought about not competing this week because of how her body felt. She's on an 8 o'clock flight to Israel tomorrow morning, but she gave it her all. She bounced back from losing in the final in week 3, and she left it all out on this court a little bit earlier.
Yeah, well, let's hope she's not too tired. I know she had a late night last night. The smile's on her face now, but I wouldn't fancy getting up and catching a flight at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, having just played for 7 more days in a row, would you?
You've got to get there 2 hours before the flight and everything else that goes into it. I think it's going to be difficult, but that's why they've been here, to earn the money to get back out on the road as things start to open up, so they can get back onto the professional tour.
OK, well, that is the first of our 3 live matches completed. Success again for Emily Appleton. Just a reminder of how much money she has made, more than £16,000 during the first 4 weeks by winning it 3 times. Runner-up to Eliz Maloney on the other occasion. We will take a break. When we come back, it'll be time for the men's 3rd place playoff as Josh looks to bounce back against Johnson.